Welcome to Solars United.
Some wonderful football here from the Solars. Yeah, if they carry on like this, they might actually win a match.
The council's closing our pitch.
What? They can't do that. What?
They said we got a month.
I just don't want this to end, Millie.
Coach, how do you know when it's time to let go?
We come together. No matter the weather, we score. I feel
We don't want to lose our pitch,
No.
so we'll raise the money. Yeah, I probably didn't need to stand up for that, did I?
Hello and welcome to the Soho Live Spotlights. I'm Vanessa Ayiku and I'm delighted to be joined by Leah and Sara from Solars United.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Do you want to tell me a little bit about the film and also what your roles are in it?
Yep, as you said, I'm Sara Harrak. I am the director and co-writer.
And I'm Leah Harvey, and I'm associate producer and actor.
I love how you're like, oh, it's me.
I know, I'm on.
It's my
Yeah, so this film, it's a bundle of energy and I hope joy
Absolutely.
for the audience.
Yep.
And essentially how I like to explain it, it's Derry Girls meets Bend It Like Beckham and that fusion of it all. So, yeah.
Okay, and how did it come about? Whose idea was it? Did it come out of some experiences that
This brain
you've been
here.
through? Oh,
Which, I don't know if that's a good thing.
we
It's
think
like-
so.
Yeah, everyone would be like, "Oh God, it came from your brain." No, so I lived abroad for quite a few years. Moved back to London when I was 30, and I was like, I need to make some friends. And so I joined football, and I'd always played football when I was younger, but then sort of was veered towards netball as a sport, and really enjoyed team sports. And during this time, when I joined this football team, it's a five-a-side team in East London called Bangers FC. Brilliant. It's a great name. I realised how much more I was getting, not just playing football, it was also about the community and the love. Yeah, it was really, the socialising of it was so beautiful. And to this day, I've been back in London for 3 years now. And to this day, I still meet, we still play, and it's so much more. And I think I really wanted to highlight that sort of aspect of team sports.
Great. And obviously female football is in the news now, and everybody's like championing them and pushing them forward. What sort of challenges do you think are still intrinsic in the game, and how were you addressing that with your approach to the film?
Yeah, I mean, shall I?
Yeah, go on.
I think, ultimately everyone always starts with grassroots football. This is not obviously the WSL. We're not highlighting the WSL. And I think there's always room for improvement. Our film is very diverse. And maybe this is something that hopefully, the WSL, I know they are working on that, about diversity within the teams. And so I think we're kind of highlighting what the grassroots feel. And it's, we haven't just shoehorn diversity into tick boxes. This is part of our team. Like, this is, if you go to East London and specifically to East London, this is what teams look like, and it's that beautiful unifying sort of everyone's there to play football, and it doesn't matter what you look like, who you come from, what sex, gender, it really doesn't matter. And it's a really beautiful, I think, as a director and on this a co-writer, it's super important for me to be able to reflect what a world that I would love for us to live in. So
that definitely comes across. Let me talk to Leah a little bit maybe about the casting. Obviously you were in the film as well, but how did that process come about, and did you know each other beforehand, anybody? And
Sara obviously had this idea come to her, and I was approached by her and Anna, who's also in the film. Anna and I went to drama school together, and we've known each other for a very long time, and we're very good friends. And so it was a great opportunity, one, for us to work together, but also for us to, experience something new, which was getting involved in a project that, was being built from the ground up by a director who is extremely ambitious and a great visionary.
Stop it.
Should I put it in?
I played her.
You did. And you know, and it just felt right. Sometimes things come along that feel right, and I've been on this insane journey in my career where, you know, it goes extreme, and I was ready to, you know, kind of grab it and take some control and just like decide to do something that felt really right, and this came along
At the right
time. But it's also a great project, so why wouldn't I want to be involved in it, especially at a time when women's football is so like really just kind of becoming so present in all of our lives. We were just talking outside about how, you know, it feels normal now. I'm still noticing it, but normal to see a female footballer on a poster
on the bus
selling
stands
trainers
and stuff,
or, you know, at JD Sports. Like, it feels normal, and so it's like we're just catching the start of this flow of it feeling normal to see TV shows and films and things like that highlight women's football grassroots, or
as the default rather than the exception.
Exactly, but we're catching it just as it's starting, and it's really exciting. We kind of don't know
where it's going to go. And that kind of small town kind of community team spirit that kind of grows into, you know, the small clubs that kind of grow into aspiring to be the likes of, you know, the women's England team or whatever. It's something about that community and camaraderie that kind of progresses that journey. And we see that really well on the screen between the dynamics of you. How important was that to you? And also with the dynamics, it feels very natural. Was that ad-libbing or was it all scripted? How did that play out?
I would say a lot of that is due to Sara finding the right people in front of the camera and behind. You know, there was a real sense of, we had 3 days.
3 days
shot it
shoot
in 3
on that
days,
one, yeah.
and there was a real sense of like everybody knew what it was because Sara made it so clear to everybody, and so we knew how to play within the realms of the show. We knew what the style was, we knew what the comedy was, and we also all got along, you know, and worked quite well together, which is partly luck but also good casting. So there's that, and you know, like Bill's the character I play, she's very ambitious and extremely nerdy and slightly neurotic. And I don't know how much that's based on
I mean,
not typecasting.
So you know, Bill's has this ambition and wants the club to succeed, and you know, puts a lot into it, but it's important. But it's because it's important, whether it's important because she wants to go off and be a famous footballer, or whether it's important just because she's emotionally invested in the people around her. And, you know, the journey that they're all on, it doesn't really matter. There's investment in some way, and that feels important. So that was really clear with Sara when we were doing the filming of it. And still now, as we're, you know, as it is a thing that we have,
and it's growing. And you talked about the comedy there as well. Are some of the jokes that are in there kind of in jokes within the lesbian community that you're kind of bringing to the fore, or is it kind of in jokes that were almost a bit of a sideline and a group kind of cast jokes along the way?
What do you think?
It's really funny because obviously casting this, you know, I never want to be the first question, are you queer, because are you going to relate? Because I do believe that actors are actors and they're very good at their job.
To play a part.
Yeah, and part of it is research, and like, you know, I understand it's the same for a director, right? So, but by chance, I must have a really good gaydar that, you know, majority of the people were queer in front of the camera. And that does help, obviously. But in terms of the jokes itself, it's like, you know, the prime example is them talking about star signs, horoscopes. I mean, it's textbook, and it's almost like you know, when I screen it in front of a queer audience and sort of you know, straight audience, there is a difference, but still people are still laughing. But it's kind of like going. For me, it's like a high five to my queer community of like, I'm taking the mick out of all of you. You know, we're all
and
out
they can
here.
hear that.
Yeah. And it's just, you know, it's a nice, you know, I want this film to be a wide and broad, for a broad audience. But ultimately there are these little jokes where it's like, I see
That one's for you.
Yeah.
You know what's fun though with that moment is that I feel like we really riffed on it as well.
You guys did,
as
actually.
a group, we riffed. And even Bills was there, like trying to keep it all serious and was kind of going,
Getting swept up in it.
Wait, we're doing it. You know. Anyway,
What was most challenging about it? the film?
Oh, challenging. The amount of stuff we needed to shoot. We've got a lot of locations. We started off. There's a lot of challenges, but I think probably the amount to shoot. I think on the first day we were shooting in East London, and I say East London like the old non-gentrified East London, like the old Stratfords, which I'm obsessed by. The look of that side of East London, it reminds me of my childhood. And then you have these sort of high rises it's really fun.
The Olympic Village stuff.
Yeah, it's just very weird. Yeah.
Celebration Avenue.
Yeah, exactly. But the difference is that in that area there's what they used to have, now they don't, is that this community centres, and I really love that idea of that. I've forgotten what the bloody question is.
The challenges.
Oh yeah, the challenges, locations. Yeah, so that was a big thing, basically, about how much we had to fit in one day. It's just like, back to back. But, I think with things like that as a director, you're shooting for the edit, like you don't have opportunities. The other thing was, love my actors. They are all brilliant, but when it came to playing football, that was quite difficult.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're actors,
especially when it's choreographed.
Yeah. It was, and I learned a lot from that, of going, do you know what, actually we probably didn't need to choreograph. I could have made some, it's a learning curve, obviously, all of these sort of things, but they, we got it done. We were fighting against light as always, and so it's a
I didn't even
challenge.
think to ask that, actually. Are you football players for real, or were you?
Well, that's a good sign. Then. Well done,
That's
guys.
a very good sign.
You're faking it.
Yeah.
No, we did some training, and we did some good team building stuff. And it's one of those things where we were all on different schedules leading up to it, so everybody kind of engaged as much as they could and came in on the day ready to put their all in, and we were sweating,
Proper workout
on this day, in these amazing bright orange outfits, and so everyone just put their all in, and we got great footage, and I definitely fell over at one point, didn't I? I think I nearly front
Annoyingly
flipped.
not on camera.
Annoyingly,
We wanted it on camera.
Take it again.
Fall again, Leah.
Yeah, fall again. But we just put our all in. That's it. But no, I hadn't played football before, really. But then I started playing as the.
And now you do?
I know I do.
Oh,
like
really?
It. Yeah. I can't play
Amazing.
right now because I'm doing a TV show, and
Okay.
so I can't twist
You
my
don't
ankle.
want to, no, fair enough.
The last time I was at football was actually with Sara, and it wasn't your fault at all. But I was like, I'm gonna show off.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful.
Yeah.
Like
Okay,
that.
now you're aware.
Yeah.
Even when I'm not on contract, I'll be playing football. Yeah.
And do you think part of the message that will come out of the film is about opening those conversations about the challenges around homophobia in sport still, or is that kind of a subtext that maybe will...
I think, so far my history of making films, I've always had a queer element into it. But for me, again, it's more important showing change, and so that's why I didn't make being queer a big thing. It's not like the topic. It's like, I'm gay, great, cool. You're straight, great. You're bi, whatever. It wasn't. That's not really. I think again, it's showing people that we doesn't matter, whatever.
Yeah,
and that's the life. Not everyone leads, and I totally understand that, but. It's shown how it can happen and how it does happen. So not particularly, that's not really the real message I think I wanted to come across. Again, it's just community really is the big thing, and how important that is for people to have in their lives.
Okay, the message we want the audience to get. And so what's next? Do you see it, you talked about it being a crossover, a bit like a Bend It Like Beckham. Could it become a feature film? Is there plans to...
Yes.
Do that? I can see that.
Yeah, you're like, who's going to say?
Yeah, I mean, whenever people watch it, they kind of always come to us and they go, we want more. What happens next?
Yeah.
Sarah purposefully left it on
Great
this
compliment,
very open ending. Anything could happen, and hopefully you've had enough time with them that you're invested in their story and the characters. So if we can expand on it, then we will, and I think there's a great ambition to do it. Right, we want to do it.
Yes, so I
Just getting on camera, we do want to do it, yeah?
we do, yeah. We ultimately we've started writing the feature.
Okay, great.
That's the big exciting news. We have started writing the feature. It's very funny. We're getting more into the characters because obviously 15 minutes is a very short time for such a big cast, an ensemble piece, and again making sure that key story is there, bigger, louder, more fun, and so
Looking
stay
forward to it by the
tuned.
looks on your faces. Yes, you're like,
Yeah, it's really exciting.
bring it on.
It's exciting to make something that feels special and unique and important, and that everybody who's been involved in making the short film and developing it as it's been made, like, is so invested in it,
which is great to feel.
It goes from the top down, so it comes from Sara, but there is this sense of like everybody's just really willing to put everything into creating it, and that's beautiful. And like one of the great joys of doing this kind of work, something that as an actor you don't often get to peek into, so it's been great to be able to do that.
Nice. Bring it on. Game on, I should say.
Game on.
Yay! So, as Leah's just said, Solars United. Look out for it at Soho Lift in January. We can't wait to see you there. Thank you very much.